Cat's butt was in the camera.
Good morning. Randy's cat's butt was in the camera, so that's why we're late. That's why we're late this morning. It's 10:06, Monday morning. Boogie with the Bull. Monday morning caffeine is on a device somewhere near you, and if it's not near you now, when we're live, it'll be near you when it's on a podcast. Hey, I do want to thank people because evidently people are watching. We're not getting huge numbers for Meta or Facebook that will get them to take us under their wing and help us get more people. But hey, we're reaching anywhere between 25 and 70 people, depending on what Randy and I are talking about. And if it's something good, something juicy, the numbers go even up to 100 during a morning broadcast and climb a lot higher before the next one. So
I guess what we need to do then is if you're seeing those numbers fluctuate based on the content, you need to play back the video and figure out what the content is so we can continue it. Come on, Cat, get.
Oh God, no! I don't watch them because if I started watching them, then I would break both Danny Campbell and William Campbell's record because I would have to go back and watch them all. But I understand what you're saying. Maybe we could learn, or maybe I could learn why people are watching us. But I think I'm just happy that people are watching us. The live chat is open on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and on my Dave Global profile. And also, if you go way downstairs to the Boogie with the Bull page and you watch on the Boogie with the Bull page, it makes you think you can buy stars and send stars. You can buy stars, you can send them, but right now we haven't set up with Facebook where we want them to send your generous $2 donation, I think, for each star that you buy. Facebook is pushing me into that buying stars and selling stars. I don't agree with it because the technology only takes your comment if you buy a star and make sure that I see it. So that's why I don't want you to buy a star, because if you watch on my profile or you watch on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, I see your comment, we see your comments, and your comments are always important. And if I don't read the comments, I'm sure Randy Rhodes will take a look at the comments and tell me to stop so he can read a comment. Anyway, Randy, what's new and exciting this morning?
Well, I was going to say, and you see, my cat is not letting me go here. You say what you want about your choice of pets. There are dog lovers, there are cat lovers, and there are other animals that people like as pets. And believe it or not, people will actually get into down and out fights over which animal is preferred over the other. They'll actually get, physical fight. No, my cat. No, my dog. No, my cat. No, my dog. No, my alligator. What alligator? Where'd that come from?
Ooh.
Well, a guy actually had a pet alligator. He was using that as his mental illness support animal. Yep. So he has this damn alligator, and it's down in Florida, and somehow it got loose, or someone stole it. The conversation goes either way, but a full-grown freaking alligator that he would take everywhere to walk down the street and so forth. It was his care animal, but someone actually stole it and released it out into the swamps. But my wife and I always had a dog for a pet, and the last dog that we had, his name was Troy. He was
a dog named Troy.
Troy, yeah, Troy.
Okay.
And he came. He came with that name. We didn't choose it. He came with that. The owner was elderly, and he had two dogs, and he claims he only could take care of one, so he gave up Troy. And Troy was an older dog. He was obese when we got him, and he obviously had some health issues that the Humane League did not tell us about. So he's only with us for 2 years, and then he died of cancer. But during those 2 years, he was an absolute phenomenal, the best pet you ever want. And we swore up and down that when his time came, that we were not going to get another dog. So we did. What did we do instead?
You got
My
another dog.
daughter, no, my daughter ran a cat sanctuary for a few years,
That's
rescue
true.
rescuing cats, and she was forced to shut it down due to health reasons. She had injured her leg really bad, and she couldn't wasn't as mobile as she was used to be. So she actually had to shut down the sanctuary. But there were several cats that were coming to the end, and what's going to happen? This cat, what's going to happen? I don't know. There's nobody coming forward. So we wound up with four cats, um, and so we have them. But and cats are very unique animals. They come with their own individual personalities, much like humans do. Okay, so you have the standalone cat. That's Serena. So she's still what I would call semi-feral or quasi-feral because she's very still wild in some extent. So she stays downstairs and she stays away from everybody else. But then we have Kendall and Sonata. They are very, very tuned in to me for some reason. So whenever I get sick, really down and out, next to death sick, like I was this past weekend, um, I guess maybe it's the sounds I make, or maybe it's the smell I put off. I don't know, but they wouldn't leave my side. They were there by my side. They were nuggling up against me and showing love and affection the entire time I was in bed sick. Um, so right now, Kendall's still with me by my from my computer here. But say what you will about cats, but depending and when you're looking for an animal, you gotta make sure you pick one that you're going to want to keep because cats especially live to be 20, 30 years old. So they're a long term commitment. But
They age really weird in
they
comparison
do.
to human years because we have Lola, our great tiger, is 15, almost 16 years old. And then, but if you go and do the comparison to human years, it was something strange. It was like a few years for the first year. The
Yeah.
second year was like 15. And then I stopped reading it because that would put Lola around like 527 years old. If
Yeah, I don't know how they figured the age other than on how the maybe the body organs mature, but yeah, you're right about cats when they're young, and they start to they several months old get in that kitten stage, the age really fast because of their other maturity,
yeah,
organs or whatever,
but
but
also a feral cat out. I don't know if I say it right, but a feral cat out in the woods, out in the wild, or even a cat that's lost its home is now growing up out in suburbia or whatever. Uh, must age much differently than a cat that is safe inside of someone's home,
yeah.
or at least maybe goes out and roams the neighborhood and then comes back uh, at night.
Yeah, and that's brings me to my next part of this conversation is about animals getting loose. We have more than four cats, and they're all you can tell when a cat um, is uh, content living indoors. First off, I don't think any cat should be an indoor outdoor cat. It's just you're taking the risk of the cat's life. Okay, from being run over by a car to eating poison food that someone puts out, or eating a bird or a mouse or a rat that's got hold of poison, or someone who's taking pot shots at it. No, cats should not. The whole idea that cats are wild animals, they have to run loose and feel free and blah blah bullshit. You know. Um, hey, my cat just turned my phone on. Um, uh, no, because the whole idea is they're like children. They don't know. what's danger, what's not danger. Um, so keep your cats indoors. And the way you find out if they're content is if they don't rush the damn door every time it opens up. Okay. Um, we have more than 4 cats. I won't tell you how many because we have a we're over our limit here. But um, when I because of my knees, I take a couple seconds to walk out the door. I do it kind of awkwardly, so the door opens. The door stays open longer than it would for a normal person walking out the door, and we give any of our cats the opportunity to make a dash for the door, and they don't. In fact, we have 2 cats. As soon as they hear the door open, they go run in the opposite direction because they don't want to go back outside because cats remember. Cats know if they were happy outdoors or scared because of one reason or another. So Sonata, she was our last one that we rescued. Every time she hears the front back side door open, because we had the ring doorbell, so it chimes every time the door opens or closes. So as soon as she hears that sound, boom, she's up the stairs. She's gone. Okay. And Serena's the same way. Serena, she was out. She was outside the longest, and that's why she's still, not quite associated with being inside the house. But as she hears that door opens up, she hides because she does not want to go back outside. So if your cat runs outdoors, okay, it means they're not happy. You're not doing something right by your cat.
Mama, the calico that we had, you just must have got loose from somebody's house and must have just had a bunch of places that she would go that people would feed her. And then one day someone brought her inside, and if she could get out, she'd get out, but she always came back. And Talia, her direct sister, used to get out also, and they would eventually come back. Now, Sophie, I don't think Sophie ever spent any time near the front door. Lola, on the other hand, you could open the door, you could put the best cat toy, the best cat food out on the porch, and Lola wasn't leaving. Wasn't leaving at all.
She was happy.
Was not leaving at all.
Yeah, and often, I often wonder how in the hell does a cat know where it lives? My daughter says they know by smell, but how in the heck? Because the cat's been indoors and all of a sudden gets loose and it takes off, right? And then, next thing you know, it's in 2-3 neighborhoods down away. How do they find their way back home?
Well, I think they're smarter. I think they're smarter than that. My aunt had one named Gorbachev, I believe. And Gorby, in the beginning, she'd let him out, but he always came home. So I'm figuring that Gorby just had a route of different homes that he would go to, and they either fed him or gave him water, and then or put out food or water for him, and then he would come home. I believe he was fixed, so he wasn't out making more cats, but. And then she just moved into really nice assisted living, and she was allowed to take the other one with her, Moira. But Moira, they believe, was a lap cat raised by an old Jewish lady who only ate kosher food. And if she can, Moira will jump up on your lap and expect you to feed her whatever you're eating, whether it's kosher or not. But that was always funny, and I don't know if Moira will leave. I'm imagining now that because she's in a different building, she may go out the door and wander around, but I don't think she'd ever leave the building if she got a chance to do so. She might just go roam around. But yeah, I mean, I think they have some kind of a sense that they know where home is. And I would think that if they got out and they don't come back, it might be an indication that they didn't want to come back.
Yeah, I just I just find it phenomenal how cats find their way. Dogs. Okay, so my daughter, she lives with us still, and she has her own dog Finn, and unfortunately they're not a long term commitment because dogs don't live that long, um, and that's a shame because dogs are man's best friend, and it's the God's honest truth. They are. Especially Finn. Finn won't leave her side.
Yeah.
My daughter goes from the living room to the kitchen. He follows her. She goes from the kitchen to the bathroom. He follows her.
Yeah.
You can't have a door closed between them, so he always has to see her.
Okay. I hope the bathroom door is closed.
No. She takes him in there with her.
Yeah.
But he just won't leave her side, and it's a good thing, but it's also a sad thing because we found out the hard way when she went on vacation with her boyfriend to Hawaii for a week. He was
howling and upset.
Oh my God, he was a mess.
Yep.
So she knows that she can't go away, for long-term vacations. But so pets are.
I shall have to take him with her next time.
Yeah, imagine taking a pet. By the time you take a pet to like a Hawaii, once you get the dog out of quarantine, your vacation time's over. So folks, if you're looking to do pets, cats or dogs, they are long-term commitments. Okay, they need to know love. They need to know that you care for them. And especially for those who are elderly, like when my daughter ran her sanctuary, unfortunately, a lot of the adoptees were elderly women. But my daughter and her partner in the sanctuary had this legal form drawn up that the person would make concessions for should something happen to their health or whatever. What happens to the animal? Who takes care of the animal? Does it fall to your spouse or to a son or a daughter? Or so they wouldn't let the cat leave our sanctuary, not knowing that there was a place for it to go. Should hit the fan and they get sick and they die? Person.
No, can't have that.
So make sure you leave something in the will form. So a little bit about Trump. I keep hearing people talk about him on other shows, and how he's the savior of our nation and how he is the answer to our woes, and he has all the Democrats in the palm of his hand. He's crushing down on them, and but it's only a few months left. Is what we're made now, right? So June, July, August, September, October, 6 months. 6 months, folks, and we either have regime change or we have a civil war. And that's just the way. That's my take on it.
I mean, if Trump does in fact win, it will be an interesting situation. But I keep telling what I heard lately. I haven't heard anything new on it. Is that supposedly Biden is going to march into the Democrat National Convention on August 19th in Ohio somewhere and walk out victorious with the Democrat nomination. Then supposedly around June 13th, he is going to do one of two things. He's going to step down as the nominee and pledge his delegates and his support to Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. And at this point, I don't think even the Democrats know whether or not he will finish the term and walk away as a retired president, or whether or not he will resign from the presidency and leave Kamala Harris with a very brief taste of what it will be like to be president because the Democrats don't want to run her. I believe that if Joe Biden is as vicious and mean as everyone, including Democrats, say that he is that he will finish right down to the last minute of being president, hand the keys to Gavin Newsom if he is elected, and leave. If President Trump wins the election, I believe the Bidens will be out of the White House long before the Trump inauguration, and Donald, and it's probably a ring. It's probably like a ring door code. You got Marines at the doors, so they're going to let you in. But it's probably like a ring, the equivalent of a ring, keypad that Trump has his own code that will already be programmed into it, so it doesn't matter if Biden doesn't leave him the keys. Just have to make sure he doesn't take the ice cream scoop claiming that it's his own.
If Trump wins, okay, that's a big F. If Trump wins, the Bidens will be out of the damn White House and in the plane flying to a non-extradition country because they know their asses are going to be in big trouble.
I don't think he will get that far. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Biden's own Secret Service staff turns against him if he is no longer president and makes sure he is turned over to whoever he needs to be turned over to here in the United States out of fear that they will lose their jobs and possibly face charges if they don't. But you know what? Like I've said before, I understand the Biden criminal enterprise, just like I understand the Clinton Foundation criminal enterprise and all of that. Where I am is he's 80-something years old. You take a guy who's 80-something years old, you have to clear out like a whole floor or build a separate building for him at Gitmo. He takes his entire Secret Service team goes with him. They're not sentenced to any time that he is there, and they can come and go and work all the shifts that they work. But he's basically, at taxpayer expense, he's living at Gitmo for the length of his sentence, regardless of what it is. And, I laugh about it sometimes because I always joke that I'm not a taxpayer because I don't have any taxable income. Florida doesn't collect a state income tax, and my Social Security is not taxable. So I'm not paying taxes to the federal government to support the lifelong care of a president. It's not true. I'm paying tax. Anything else we pay taxes on that the federal government gets a piece of.
Yeah, you're right.
But by the same token, I don't agree that they put him facing the wall and put a bullet in the back of his head. I felt the same way when the well-known Jewish Nazi hunters finally found Ivan the Terrible, the worst Nazi camp guard of all, living in Dedham, Massachusetts. A lot of them they followed orders that he had to be extradited to Germany, but most of them didn't want to do it. Even Wes, I can't remember, or Weiss, I can't remember his first name, the most famous of the Jewish Nazi hunters, basically was rumored to be saying, he's got cancer, he's got this, he's got that, he's in his 90s. What's the point? They ended up taking him back to Germany and putting him he was the only prisoner in that prison until he died. And fortunately for him, they paid for his care until he died. But what I don't know what the point is. I mean, there are ways you can bankrupt the Biden criminal enterprise. The Democrats are claim to be hiding all of the proof. The Republicans claim they have all the proof. The FBI is giving them all the proof. The IRS is giving them all the proof. I can't imagine that President Trump, understanding President Trump, would say, no, put up against the wall and that's it. He gets an Epstein. I don't know what we do with him, but I'm still convinced beyond the shadow of a doubt that somewhere he's not 100% dementia. And by 100% dementia, I can say I had my 6-month annual check, and on a scale of 30, I did 20, which means that there is now serious dementia in my daily life. I don't know, because Biden hasn't been tested, how he would do. And if he hit 20 and he's 20 years older than me, in his early 80s, yeah, there's serious dementia. And you know that his lawyers, if anything, will try to use the insanity defense. And the old insanity defense was you got locked up in a nice insane asylum or institution, as they called it, like John, the guy that took the shot at President Reagan for Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get sent home to live with your mom, or in his case, he gets sent home to live with Jill because his mom has already passed away anyway. I don't really know. I don't like thinking that Trump is not going to win, only because if he loses to a Democrat, they've had all this time to do the Rhodes Doctrine, where they told us what they were going to do, how they were going to do, and when they were going to do it, and then they went ahead and did it. And so they've told us what they were going to do. They want to reelect Joe Biden. They told us when they're going to do it, November election day. They told us how they're going to do it. They're either going to get the votes and win legitimately, or they're going to steal it again. And from what I hear from Democrats on the inside, is supposedly if he wins, they don't think he's going to make it through the second term with his health. Not like someone's going to do anything to off him or something, but he just doesn't have the mental ability to do it. Well, which is the only reason why I could latch onto this plan that evidently, like I said, he's going to win the Democrat nomination. He's going to sit on it for a month. He's going to resign a month later, give his support to Gavin Newsom, probably because he gets his dignity if he does that. And maybe there's one Democrat that makes a decision that thinks he could actually beat Donald Trump. I think the Newsom-Trump debates, or Trump-Newsom debates, because the challenger always gets named first, the Trump-Newsom debates, Donald's not going to have to say much other than throw Newsom under the bus on California and how the United States will become 49 more Californias, other than they have a robust economy so they can afford to pay reparations.
Well, the only economy they got going on is Hollywood.
No, they still have Silicon Job Valley.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, if you look at California and a robust economy for a very small portion of that population. I mean, when you got a live video of individuals walking around like in a zombie land because they're on drugs, and they have those open drug centers where you can go there and shit up all you want and not have any cops mess with you, or you have you're out with your sweetheart and you're dining outside because the weather's so beautiful in California, and you look over to your side and here's this guy taking a dump on the sidewalk.
That to me is ridiculous. That person that person needs to be taken into some kind of protective custody and be given some serious mental health care, regardless of what they are politically, because odds are they're not politically. They just need to get some compassionate human help.
Well,
And let me just end that thought with Newsom is the one I affectionately call New Scum, because he's new, other than he's served several terms of governor, I think, by now. But it's the same game. When Xi Jinping from China and Biden came to tour San Francisco, they bust everybody out of there.
yeah.
Washed it down, bleached it down, cleaned it all up, made sure none of those people were gone, which means that they had to have a plan where they were going to move them for the time being. And then after Ping left, they brought them all back, or just released them and let them go back. And Ping's not stupid. I believe there were statements from him that said he knows what goes on there. He's not stupid.
Well,
he's got cameras in San Francisco.
Well, I mean, he has his own thing going on too with his own country, where he has his poverty and below poverty level people. He knows what goes on when you get ready for a state visit. But it's just sad that you have a person who is in control, and it's sort of like a governor is sort of like a grandfather. Okay,
President of the state.
He's supposed to take care of his children being the citizens of his state, and he has his favorites, and as long as he's taking care of his favorites, he doesn't care about the rest of the family, and they're the ones who are actually suffering, and in the majority. So you have the $1,000 shopping sprees where they go in there and they take what they want for up to $1,000, and they don't get thrown in jail for it. My wife and I were watching Blue Bloods yesterday, and there's only like 10 episodes of that series left, and it's over. And again, I think that the reason why it's going off there because it's a conservative show. Had the guy's wife, she's a police officer, and she just made an arrest where a teenager was walking down the street and punched this old man and knocked him silly. And so she saw it herself, and she arrested him, brought him back to her station to lock him up and to officiate the charges. And the sergeant at the desk took her felony charge of what it should have been and reduced it to a non-felony, a first offense kind of scenario, and he was going to be released.
But her sister, the ADA, is not gonna stand up.
Well, no.
And it's going to be a Sunday night dinner conversation with even Frank's father, whose name I can never remember, but Frank's father, who was a police commissioner, Francis, long before Frank Jr., I guess, became police commissioner. His father was a police commissioner. So he's going to talk about how back in his day that stuff never happened.
Oh yeah. Back in his day, they hit him over the head with a police baton.
Yeah.
But and so what I was saying is that that's what's happening. That show amongst very few others are showing true day-to-day occurrences, and that's what's happening. These kids are walking the streets. They're using baseball bats or fists or whatever.
Even just the challenge. Michael Anthony has talked about it on his broadcast. I forget what it's called. I want to call it the dumb shit challenge, but where where you're in the gang or it's just a bunch of friends. And the challenge is the first old person that you see, you go up and punch them and steal the old lady's purse. Or you go up and punch a guy and steal his wallet. Or you beat the hell out of somebody just to steal the Nike shoes that you can't ever afford. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
You're
just,
right.
you know,
They have these stupid challenges.
yeah, get the
Of
fucking job at McDonald's and make $20 an hour and save your $20 and go buy yourself a pair of Nike shoes if that's what you want. And once you get the Nike shoes, if you don't want to work anymore, quit the damn job and go on welfare.
yeah, yeah.
As opposed to beating somebody up and ending up in prison. But if that's what you want, you live better. Beat the guy up, go to prison.
You know, it's like the government is hounding down on people who are preparing, to be able to live on their own. And I mentioned my brother many times. My brother's I'm 67 years old, and he has a heart condition, and he was overweight. I haven't seen him in years, so he might have lost a lot of weight. But he bought this nice property. He got lucky. It was deeded. It was a farm, so it's deeded agricultural. So he has the old farm structures, and he has his chickens, and he has his 2 acres of land that he and his wife plant various food crops on. And yesterday I was talking to him, and he was out of breath. And I said, "What's going on?" He said, I'm outside hanging a screen door on the chicken hooch." I said, what, really? He said, yeah, so I just built a screen door. I just hung it on the screen hooch. Now I got the screen door going in out the chicken's house. And he said, no, next I'll be building the above ground pot, trays so we can, instead of planting the vegetables into the ground, you have these above ground, planters where they can plant food and stuff. And I thought, holy shit! Now here I am, and it's just this is the way world comes. He's he lived a life that most people would have been dead by now, and he did die several times on the operating table. We had his 4-way heart operation, but he's able to do things physically do things that I can't do. And the best thing I can do is use my brain to do what I do for to help other people.
That's
But he has he's going to be getting sheep this spring. He wants several sheep so for the wool, right? Um,
He just wants sheep because he's a bad dude. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Going to the corner, wear your dunce hat. Well, that's good though. That's yeah. I'll give you 10 points for that.
Oh, okay.
No, but
That's the 10 points I need. Now I can take those 10 points and probably call my neurologist and go, see, I'm okay now.
Yeah, you're no longer brain. Oh my god. Oh god.
Hey, if anybody else wants to join the insanity of a Boogie with Monday, Wednesday with Randy and I, and Friday with Randy and I, Jen Woodruff, let's see, Bonnie Johnson, anybody else you want to join in, you're more than welcome. Just let me know by 9 o'clock each morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you do join the 10 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday broadcast, you're probably going to get threatened with being invited to join the Tuesday, Thursday night broadcasts as well.
Yep, yeah, you are.
And you have to tell Randy Rhodes if you want to join them.
Have to tell me, okay. What else can we talk about?
What else can we talk about?
Well, the house across the street finally sold, so we should be getting new neighbors soon. Luckily, this is going to sound terrible, but luckily it wasn't the people I thought were going to get the house. It's a young couple. The way it sounds, my daughter thinks that the father helped with getting the house because she was with them when they checked the house out the first couple of times. So,
Yeah.
dear old dad comes to rescue and helps his daughter, buy the house. Um, uh, I'm still. I need to get this damn secured credit card, so I need $200 to get that. So one of these days I have $200 to throw away. Well, I think is bullshit. Now, I had set up one before, okay, with Capital One. So folks, if you ever have to do a secured credit card, check out their rules. So here's where it went wrong with them. So I needed I needed a secured credit card so I can build up my credit. So I got this Capital One secured credit card where I took my $200 and put it on their card, okay? And then I would borrow against that $200 and I would pay it back. And I would pay it back. I borrowed and I pay it back and I built up my credit score. So finally I had the damn thing balanced out. I paid everything back into it. So I went to cancel it. God didn't want it anymore. And it's so you can't cancel. You owe us $200. I said, what do you mean I owe you $200? You owe us $200. I said, no, that was my $200 that I gave you from the get-go to borrow from. That's not, you didn't give me $200, and then I used your money. And I went back and forth for months, arguing the point that was my money and not theirs. And finally, they said, screw you. Here's a notice that we intend to collect, whether you want to or not. So it wound up costing me $300 because of late fees and shit like that. So, folks, if be careful of how those secured credit cards are that you choose.
Usually on the secured ones, I think it's after a year that you show that you're being responsible and paying off your $200 limit each time you use it.
It's all right. It's still there, but it's not as bad.
You get the $200 back. I, for some strange reason, have not had that problem, but then again, I've never had a credit card until I was 62 years old.
Yeah.
And I don't know what changed. But
What?
I know.
It can't be a pain. The best thing I tell people realistically is you just knocked Capital One, so I'll give the equal time. If you're looking to rebuild your credit on a credit card or using a credit card to do it, your best option, I think, is to go to CapitalOne.com anyway, because they'll run your information and they will find the best ones. But unfortunately, you got to pay it back if you want your $200 back.
Well, yeah, and that's what I did. I paid. I put the $200 on it. I bought stuff. I paid back the monthly payments. Blah 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 blah. And then I wanted to just close out the card.
Right,
and it said you can't. You owe us $200. Well, how the hell do I owe you $200? That's my money. Yeah. Oh my God! I asked my wife. I was screaming into the phone.
I think that person was wrong the way they did it, but I think their belief is that you're going to put the $200 in, you're going to use the card, and then you're going to go on to an unrestricted account or an unrestricted card, and I would imagine that the $200 just gets put on that unrestricted card, gets added to your whatever. So, but I don't know. Paid off. I don't understand them.
Yeah, so now I need another $200 to do it over again. If I want to buy this house, and I do want to buy this house. I really do. I mean, now obviously, I am fully aware that doing a VA, no money down on a house, the mortgage will be higher. So obviously, if the mortgage is whacked out of my existence, I won't be able to buy the house. But
I thought that was supposed to help you, not necessarily be something that hurts you. That no money down on a VA loan means that you would have more money to invest on the purchase of the home without having to put, say your down payment on the house would have been $20,000. If you have that $20,000 and you don't have to put it down, you can just send in. Your first payment is, say, $1,000 plus 20, so you send in $21,000, and you've knocked off a significant piece of your loan. 10% of your loan.
Yeah, well, I don't have money to put down on the house. Period.
You don't have
Uh,
money?
No, I'm like the multi-millions of people in this world who live in paycheck to paycheck. If it boils down to that, I keep renting. I keep renting. The good thing, I'll call it a good thing, is that my landlord is at a point where every year he increases the rent by $50, and every year the government increases my Social Security by $100. So I'm maintaining.
The Medicare takes a good piece of it.
Yeah. So it is what it is. And life goes on.
We're not looking at much again for, I think it's 2.6% for 2025.
I just,
and Biden got kicked in the nuts with this at the beginning of his term in 2020. He wanted to raise it to something like 8.9%, and the House just shot it. Pelosi and company just shot it way down and made it very clear it wasn't going to be anything like that.
Yeah.
Check it on Jackie.
And then the House and the Senate currently making $174,000 a year, plus if you're a leadership role in either the House or the Senate, you get a little bit more. The first thing they're going to do after the 2024 election is, regardless of who wins, they're going to go in there and vote themselves a big raise, probably as close to $200,000 base pay as they can get. And they're all going to vote. They're all going to approve it, or they're going to get a majority of Democrats and Republicans to approve it.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you approve a raise to yourself? I mean, I'm just dumb.
Well, right. But you're approving a 20% raise to yourself, and you're not willing to give me
a
10% raise on Social Security every year.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, they can't keep raising the Social Security because they have to come up with money somewhere.
Well, Social Security is the original Ponzi scheme. You and I went to work many, many, many years ago and paid in. And the people who were on Social Security took all of that money. And then new people got hired and had jobs for 20 or 30 years, and they paid in. And that's how we got paid. And then that's the biggest problem with Social Security is that there were years of no baby booming.
Yeah.
So no baby making. No baby making. So no new recruits to Social Security.
Yeah.
Paying into it to keep it going.
Yeah.
I still say that they should figure out how much everybody has. And deduct it from the next 65 trillion that they're going to send, or 65 billion, that they're going to send to Ukraine, and give it back to all of us, and let us take care of investing it on our own, or give us a big check, and then 5 years later, give us another big check.
With the amount of body count that's going up in Ukraine with the war.
Toddlers, newborns and toddlers.
Eventually it's going to come to an end.
Yeah.
And they have to decide for themselves, how they're going to rebuild their nation, and how they're going to replenish what they lost. I mean, I just was looking at the news trying to find something about Ukraine, and the only thing that's really new is that again, depending on where you're getting news from, it leans one way or the other. It leans to one way or the other as to who they're supporting, Ukraine or Russia. But Russia has created this new bomb that it launches from a plane, and it glides down in the air, and it gets to a certain altitude. And it explodes. It's called an air bomb.
Yeah.
Okay? And the concussion of the air bomb is what does the destruction on the ground level. So they used it for the very first time in combat just the other day, and I wiped out the entire street of this one small town.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't much left of town
Maybe
to
have a little
start with.
snack.
But I think Russia is this. For whatever reason, Russia is damn determined to totally destroy the cities.
Right, but so they're going to go in and they're going to destroy the cities, level everything to the ground. Wasn't the big thing under Jimmy Carter when he was president the neutron bomb that was supposed to basically kill the people but leave the buildings?
How long does she have to stay in? A couple days?
Correct.
And
How long
and
would
it's
she
like
have
I'm
to stay
62
in?
now.
How long would
and
she have to stay in?
whatever happened to that? I mean, it would save warring governments a shiitake load of money. But I think let them let Russia bomb as much in Ukraine as they want, because most of that money that Zelensky got is probably just sitting in warehouses, just waiting to be spent, or buying weapons and then sitting in warehouses waiting to be spent.
Yeah.
The one thing that
So it's like when Putin gets in there, he's going to find all that money. But then again, like I've said before, I think he's getting a piece of it now.
Downstairs, right?
Because if he wanted that thing to end, I'm sorry, I cut you off 3 times now, but if he wanted that thing to end, he would have just ended it as quickly as it began. And then he would have taken his hits from Joe Biden and the United States of America, because I'm sure China, who is bigger than both Russia and the United States, was going to be on his side and go, nice job.
Now, the one thing that surprises me is that Russia is in the process of totally wiping out the very existence of Ukraine down to the dust. Okay,
because they want it.
Why isn't Ukraine? I'm sure they have the capability of launching long-range missiles into Russian cities and towns.
I remember.
I mean, all they managed to hit are like the port areas where the Russian Navy was being protected by, but they really haven't done anything in the way of hitting the cities.
I think it's out of fear that if they hit a serious target, if they took out the Kremlin and with Putin in it, or even if they just took out the Kremlin without Putin in it, either way, Russia would just flip a switch and boom, Ukraine would be gone. And then the problem becomes, does the United States get into that war or just break it up and make sure it ends? And I don't think Biden has the authority, has the power to go to Putin and say, you're done. It's finished. You lost. Go home.
Yeah, no, Biden doesn't have.
But I mean, the people within the Biden administration. I mean, if I was Putin and Joe Forblonsky comes in and tells me that Joe Biden says the war's over, you're done, I'd be laughing.
Yeah,
I'd just be laughing.
I think what needs to be done is that someone needs to tell Zelensky he's lost. Okay, and to bring it to an end. There is
something more than there's something in Zelensky that I don't know yet. It's like I said, I don't buy that the reason he dresses the way he is the reason that he dresses the way he does is because his country is at war. Okay, I just don't buy that, because I'm sure the t-shirts that he's wearing probably cost the same as the t-shirts that Mark Zuckerberg is buying. And I just don't, I just don't. I mean, maybe I missed something, but I got a feeling that we pumped Zelensky into power.
Oh yeah, I mean, our nation has done that all the time. Is that we raise someone up to be the leader of a country, and then she hits the fan because it went to the guy's head, and all of a sudden now we got to put the guy down. Look at Africa. I mean,
I don't think that it's our responsibility to put Zelensky down, but I think it's our responsibility to turn off
the money.
turn off the money and go back and make sure we take the plates and the printing presses
Yeah, right.
out of Ukraine. And
Because all we're doing is continuing the war in Ukraine to continue the loss of life of the soldiers
Well,
and
they
of
let
the,
him
of
go to
the,
the
of the
hospital
citizens.
after the season.
I mean, I saw a video of a guy
Like
with
the
Down
next day when they
syndrome
let Thomas
who was
go
in
and-
uniform, and he had no idea what he was doing, but he was recruited into combat because they're that bad off with the need for soldiers.
Yeah.
It's time to cut off. I mean, they got old people fighting. They got young people fighting. And it's time to turn them. You're running out of your citizens that are. The next thing you know, they'll be recruiting the women. And if you start doing that, then you know you're on the losing end.
Israel does that. Israel.
Okay. Well, Israel's different.
Israel
Israel's surrounded
does
by.
it. No, but
Israel is
it's
surrounded
not.
by a dozen nations who want to destroy them.
But it's not part of that. It's you're a citizen of Israel, and it's your job, regardless of whether or not you're a male or a female. It's your job to defend it. They're not grabbing children and saying, now, strap bombs around you and go be human shields or anything. But it's you have a responsibility to help defend.
Well, if I'm a female in Israel, knowing how the women are treated by the terrorists, you're damn tootin' I'm going to be carrying my sidearm and my whatever automatic weapon on my shoulder because I'm going to protect my virginity. Because they don't treat women right.
Erika Deesh, who is the chairman of the board, never called herself the chairwoman as far as I knew her, but the chairman of the board of Bain Capital, Mitt Romney's investment capital company. And she was, I believe, a soldier in the Israeli army. She walks with a limp. You never talk to her about it. You never point it out. You never do anything like make sure, you don't get out and open the door for her. She wants to do it herself. No reason why she can't, but she wants to do it herself. But she will tell you she went in and did her responsibility because it was the right thing to do.
I personally believe, as a nation goes, every teenager upon graduation should do at least 2 years in the military. And it's going to teach them to become mature. It's going to teach them respect for their nation, and it's going to teach them that the soldiers are out there fighting for a lifetime are there for you. I think every teenager should do 2 years in the military.
I think some of the people that own student loans that are just sitting on a degree, whether or not they're working or not, they should go do something. They want student loan forgiveness. Go fight the war in Ukraine.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's time. I gotta get going here.
All right.
Great talking to you. See you on Wednesday, I guess.
On Wednesday. Well, you're always welcome to drop by Tuesday night at 7 p.m. if you're around, but I know that's usually bedtime for you.
I might do a flyby.
All right. Then we'll see you on Tuesday. You want the privilege or you want me to do it?
Goodbye.
Yeah, all right. Randy Rhodes. I can't say all roads lead to Dixie because I saw the post today. He's changing the name of that broadcast. And I can't tell you to join the All Roads, RHODES, lead to home genealogy group. It was, in fact, changed for reasons that we've talked about on a lot of broadcasts, but join the group. If you're interested in genealogy, talk to Randy, give him, I think it's 5 generations of names. Your name, your parents' name, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents. If you can provide that information, usually you can do it as far as your name, your parents' name, and both sets of grandparents' names. In as little as 15 minutes, you can go back 5 generations, and that should tell you whether or not you want to continue. Can't guarantee that he's going to find that you're royalty or you're supposed to be the king or queen of England right now, but you never know. And if he finds a lot, and find out like Jen Woodruff is somewhere along the line a princess in royalty somewhere, I forget, but also her family owned a large amount of slaves in the South at some point. But you have to listen to Randy Rhodes report it. I only hear and remember the big bits and pieces. Anyway, it is 11:06, 1 hour after we started, and that's what we do with Boogie with the Bull Monday morning caffeine. As Randy said, we'll be back Wednesday morning. Randy and I and anyone else who wants to join us or do a flyby, as Randy put it. Tuesday night is an open discussion broadcast. I believe Jen Woodruff will be there. Randy, hopefully, I will. Wednesday morning is Randy and I. Thursday night is an open discussion again. I don't know who's going to be there. No interviews this week. There may be a history lesson on Tuesday. I don't know what it is yet. I'll have to talk to Jen. And we'll go from there. Friday morning, Red Friday morning caffeine now is me, Randy, Jen, Bonnie Johnson, and anyone else who wants to join us. And that's it. So this is the part of the broadcast where I tell you have been watching Boogie with the Bull Monday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. Equal time is given to responsible parties for the opposing views. No one's accepted it yet, so you don't need to understand it. If you think that you're an equal party that needs equal time to be responsible, message me. In the almost 5-year history of Boogie with the Bull broadcast, no one has. But that doesn't mean that anyone ever will. Thanks again to David Novar, Dr. David Novar, computer technician, who again caught a technical issue and messaged me just as we were going live, and I appreciate that. Andy Hasselbart. I always say names wrong. Andy Ryan Hasselbart. Thank you for watching. I watched Danny Campbell, who has now watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcasts than anybody else in the history of Boogie with the Bull, because William Grant wasn't watching. Normally they're tied. Thank you for watching. David Novar, always a pleasure again to have you here and get your advice. Susanna Cardo, thank you for watching. And if you're anywhere else on Facebook that we shared it to, thank you for watching. I don't know if all the admins that allow us to post it when it is a political talk discussion between Randy and I in the live chat and anybody else who is watching, I don't know if everybody, the admins of those groups, will keep this one today, because it was kind of like the American Rebellion format, which is where the idea for Tuesday and Thursday night came from, where we kind of went around in a bunch of different circles and tried to be new and exciting, new and improved. Ichabod Palmer, you are now the last person to watch. Thank you for watching. If you're around 10 o'clock Wednesday morning, join us. If you're around at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Eastern time, please feel free to join us. Anyway, time for me to feed dogs and cats and probably myself, and enjoy the day. You go out there and make it a great day to take a quick look out the window, and the sun's shining. It's a little cloudy. Let's see what let me see what the weather says. The weather says 79 degrees, partly cloudy. Let's tap on the weather and get a little bit more information. 80 degrees, mostly cloudy, feels like 83. Winds southwest, 6 miles per hour. 89 is the low, 70 is the high. So, yeah, go out there and make it a great day if you get a chance to get outside. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast made it to only an hour. Hey, William Grant is now actually the last person to log in. So Danny and William Grant are now tied for who's watched the most Boogie with the Bull broadcast. Peyton Smith looks like a new name. Thank you for watching. And I made a decision yesterday. I don't think we're going to live stream to Instagram. It's very easy to do it. Unfortunately, it appears to be very complicated or too complicated for me to get my my Instagram account changed to a Instagram professional account, which is also free. So we're just not going to bother with Instagram as a live streamed account. We'll drop the YouTube channel on it and continue moving forward with Rumble. So that's all I got to say there. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end one more time. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast did in fact come to an end. See you Tuesday night or Wednesday morning.